this meeting side by side. Okay. All right. So we start off this topic, location of Pakistan, by studying the latitudes and the longitudes, the exact location where the country is. So most of the things that you're going to study in this topic are very factual. You just have to memorize these details. So if you start off by looking at the location, we're located between the 24 degrees and 35 degrees north. These are the longitudes, and 35 degrees latitude. So let me just show you this map here. This is the map of Pakistan. And if you focus on the map, if you focus on these boundaries, I'm going to also label these for you. So if you just look at these boundaries, so this is the entire boundary of the country. Okay. Yeah. And now if you look at the latitudes, guys, do you know what are latitudes? Do you know the difference between longitudes and latitudes? No. All right. So the latitudes are basically all these vertical, these horizontal lines. Just a second. If you look at this is a latitude, this is another latitude. So all these horizontal lines are basically the latitudes. And all these vertical lines on a map are called the longitudes. All right. So these lines, they basically help us locate a particular map on a world map, maybe, right? So if you look at the latitudes of Pakistan, just focus on this. This is the topmost latitude, and this Tropic of Cancer is the latitude where the country on the southernmost side. And if you look at the longitudes, 64 degrees east to 72 and 76 degrees, and even further, 76 or let's say 78, around 78 degrees east. So these are the longitudes and latitudes for Pakistan. All right, you should know about these very clearly. Let's look at the information again. So 24 degrees north, we're located between 24 and 37. These are the latitudes. And if you talk about the longitudes, 61 to 78. This is exactly what we saw on the map. So let's look at the latitudes again. They start from this 24, I mean, right above Tropic of Cancer, there will be a 24 degrees north latitude. Let's get back to this. Guys, focus on the blue lines that I'm drawing. So a line over here is a 24 degrees north latitude, right? And then there is a 35 or 36 degrees north line above the map. Got it? So Pakistan is in between these two latitudes, the 24 to 36, and the increase as you move upwards towards the northern side, right? So 24 to 36 degrees north, these are the latitudes. Now, if you focus on the longitudes, this one is 64, and you could say that we might start off from 61, around 61, 62, right? 61 degrees east to 74. This was 76, not okay, 78, yeah. 78. So 61 degrees east to 78 degrees east. These are the two longitudes between which the Pakistan lies. Please tell me if this is clear to you guys. Guys, I just need an acknowledgement so we can move ahead. There's a message. It's clear. All right. Dua, are you also clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Okay, so these were the two latitudes and the longitudes between which this map of Pakistan lies. So area of Pakistan, there's some more facts regarding the country. 796,096 square kilometers is the entire area. 1,600 kilometers from north to south, and 885 kilometers from east to west, right? This is just the distance between the two furthermost borders, north and south and east and west, and the total area. If you look at the exact location, we have a border with China on the northeast side. If you look at the map again, guys, here's China on top. Can you see the cursor or no? Now, guys, can you see my cursor?
Yes.
You can? Okay, perfect. So this is China over here on the northeastern side of the country. Then there's Afghanistan. Afghanistan is on the western side. India is on the eastern side. And Iran is on the southwestern side, right? So these are all the borders. And you should also know the types of borders that we have with these countries. China, I mean, we have the longest border with Afghanistan, that is 2,252 kilometers border line. It's known as the Durand line. This is the name of that border. With Afghanistan, I mean, they haven't really specified the border with Iran and India. Okay, so these are the four most, I mean, the four countries that are the immediate border, the immediate neighbors of Pakistan. On the southern side, we are basically connected to the Arabian Sea. This is the Arabian Sea over here with the with some parts of Balochistan and Sindh. All right. So guys, also let's look at the provinces. If we're just looking at the map over here, I'm gonna again annotate on this to look at the provinces. So before looking at this map, I want Ahmed, can you tell me the names of the four provinces?
Yes, Balochistan, Punjab, Sindh, and I don't know the fourth one.
The fourth one is Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. It was known as NWFP, Northwest Frontier Province, but later it became, the name got changed to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, right? So this is the first one, Punjab. This is Sindh. This is Balochistan, and this is Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And if you look at the borders, yeah, this is Punjab, this is Sindh, this entire part is Balochistan. Balochistan also has this border with the Arabian Sea. Sindh also has this border with the Arabian Sea. And then this is Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. This is Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, and this is Gilgit-Baltistan. All right. So these are all the important states. Dua, are you also clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Strategic importance of Pakistan. We'll come back to the provinces later on. Let's look at the importance of Pakistan on this map. I mean, this natural strategic importance of our area, the place, the location where the country lies. So first of all, the first importance is that Khyber Pass provides a route to Afghanistan. Okay, so our border with Afghanistan, that trade route is known as Khyber Pass, and it's used for trade on land between the two countries, right? So this is very important. The Korakaram highway helps in trade and communication with China. So Pakistan has this border with China, and we also have this Korakaram highway that connects the two countries, and that highway is used for trade and communication. Gwadar and Karachi seaports provide crucial travel as well as trade facilities as to north and northwest. So Pakistan has these ports on these coastal areas of Karachi, mostly Sindh and Balochistan. Gwadar is in Balochistan. Karachi has these different seaports as well. You should know the names of some seaports: Pasni or Mara, right? Karachi Port, Port Bin Qasim. So these are all the important seaports that Pakistan has. So these important seaports, including Gwadar, that's in Balochistan, they are very important for the country because they set up a platform for international trade through sea, right? So we can trade with other countries because we have these natural sea routes through Arabian Sea as well. Its coastline at the Arabian Sea facilitates trade with West, Middle East, and Far East and Southeast Asia. So because, again, we have a coastline with the Arabian Sea, we're connected with all of these countries, Middle Eastern countries, the Far Eastern states, the Southern Eastern states, right? Southeast Asia. So we have this natural route of trade with all of these countries. Pakistan has a central location that provides air routes from west to east, and the Jinnah International Airport facilitates it. So because of our air routes, because the location of Karachi, Jinnah International Airport is the Karachi airport, and because Karachi has such a strategic location that airport also serves Pakistan in, I mean, supporting all of these trade ventures because, um, I mean, because of the connectivity itself, it's easier to access the city, and it's easier. I mean, it becomes further easier when the trade routes are developed properly. An example of this is the Jinnah International Airport. It offers easy access to Central Asian states, CAS, and its 6 republics to Afghanistan. So Pakistan can get an access to the CAS, which are also known as the Central Asian states, via Afghanistan. All right. These are the 6 countries that are a group of, I mean, this group of 6 countries is known as CAS, Central Asian states, and we can access these states through Afghanistan. I mean, that is a part of transit trade. What is transit trade? Transit trade is when you access another part of the world going through another country, you got to pay taxes to that country. So Afghanistan also gets this advantage, in Pakistan, I mean, Pakistan gets an access to all of these countries through that. Then feasibility of natural gas pipeline projects from CAS, India, Iran, and Southeast Asia. Again, guys, Pakistan has this ongoing Iran-Pakistan gas pipeline project, which is very important. Why? Because Iran supplies gas through to other countries through Pakistan, and I mean, using the route, the land of Pakistan, and Pakistan gets taxes from Iran because this is a form of transit trade. So transit trade is again very important for a country. You provide the roads to another country, you get taxes in return. Okay. Now, this is an example of Pakistan gas pipeline project. If this project is completed, Pakistan will get 21.5 cubic meters of natural gas from Iran. This can be used as fuel, CNG for vehicles. It can also be used to generate electricity in thermal power stations. This is the importance of Pakistan-Iran gas pipeline project. Now we're coming to the provinces of Pakistan. Sindh, Punjab, Balochistan, NWFP, which is Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. We also have FATA, Gilgit-Baltistan, and Kashmir. FATA is the federally administered tribal areas. So it's a group of all these tribal areas near Peshawar and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. We group them together as FATA. And Gilgit-Baltistan and Kashmir are also independent states. I mean, they're a part of Pakistan, but they have their own governments. So in 2009, the federal cabinet approved an ordinance that gave political autonomy to northern areas. I mean, this is what we're talking about, the political autonomy that was given to FATA. And they were grouped together as federally administered tribal areas. They have their own government and they're administered by that government. A new name was given to the northern areas as Gilgit-Baltistan. In 2010, NWFP renamed as Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So let's talk about FATA in detail. It's located between Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Let's look at the map again. This is Balochistan here, guys. Let me screen snap. Yeah. So this is Balochistan and this is KPK. So this area over here, all of this area, this is known as the FATA. And this is Gilgit-Baltistan, the yellow one. This is Kashmir. All right. Let's talk about the topography. Is everything clear up till now? Is there any question? All right. So guys, topography is basically the second topic, but we're going to study it in, I mean, I'm going to give you a recap of this topic because this is one of the most important topics. And you're going to study the things, I mean, all of these topics studied in topography will later be studied in most of the topics of geography. So topography is basically a study of the land, the features, the surfaces, and how the land is formed and how the different surfaces interact with each other. For example, there are northern mountains, there are plain areas. If you look at Pakistan, Pakistan has these northern mountains towards the northmost. Then the southmost areas of Karachi, of Sindh, are plainer areas. The middlemost areas up, I mean, if you look at the federal capital, Islamabad, it is located on a plateau. Balochistan itself is a plateau. So the names that I'm taking over here, the northern mountains, the plateaus, the plainlands, these are the topographical features. And if you look at the topographical features of Pakistan, first of all, you'll see mountains. We have northern and western mountains. Then there are plateaus, Balochistan plateau, there are plains, and there are desert areas. So this is exactly what the topic is all about. We're going to study about these mountains in detail. We're going to study about these plateaus, the Potaba Plateau, the Balochistan Plateau. These are the two main important plateaus in Pakistan. We're going to study about the plains, the Indus Plains, and the desert areas. So starting off with the northern and northwestern mountains, there are three types of important northern mountain ranges in Pakistan: the Karakorams, the Himalayas, the Hindu Kush. So, and then the western mountains, there are four types of important western mountain ranges: Waziristan Hills, Suleiman Range, Krithir Range, Safed Kor Range. Let's look at the northern and northwestern mountains here. So guys, northern mountains. Oh, wait, a question. Have you guys been to a northern mountain area of Pakistan? Any northern areas? No? No. So guys, all right. If you get to visit, if you get a chance to visit Pakistan, do visit the northern areas. I mean, they're beautiful for tourism. So let's talk about the, the topography of these areas, the lifestyle of people, the economical activities and everything, right? Yes, Skardu is a northern mountain place, of course. Have you been to Skardu before? It is one of the most important districts of the northern mountain ranges. So we're talking about the relief. I mean, the three most important ranges, the Karakoram, the Himalayas, the Hindu Kush, are located over here, and these ranges run from west to east. This is basically the direction of these ranges. The height, if you look at the general height, it starts from 6,000 meters and it goes up to 8,000 or 8,500 approximately. Right, so you've been to Skardu. All right, okay. Okay, deep, narrow valleys. If we, you should also know the examples of some of these important valleys. Baltistan, Chitral, Kahan, these are important places, the important valleys that are located in northern mountains. Guys, please do remember these names. Keep writing things down because you will be asked to write examples when you'll be attempting questions. It also has snow-capped, sharp, steep-sided peaks like Nanga Parbat, Trichmere, and K2. So these are some important mountains that are located. You guys must have heard of K2. That is the highest mountain in Pakistan. Siachen, Baltoro, Baltura, these are the glaciers. You should also know the names of these glaciers. High passes such as Punjab Pass, Shandur Pass, Lamarai Pass. These are the names of the passes. If you look at the drainage features, guys, what is drainage? Any idea? What do you understand by the drainage features of northern mountains? No? Okay. Dua, any idea? Yeah, some sort of sewage system. But when we talk about drainage of the northern mountains, we're typically talking about how the water flows when the ice melts. It's the drainage for the snow, the melted snow in summers, right? Because we studied that the mountain tops are covered with snow in winters. That snow needs a drainage to flow in summers when the snow melts, right? So the rivers that carry the water from the northern mountains towards the lower areas in summers, they are known as the drainage features of the northern mountains. For example, Jhelum, Chenab, Indus River, Ravi, Beas, Satluj. So these are the eastern tributaries, and the western tributaries are the Kabul and Sawat River. So these are the rivers, important rivers that carry water from the northern mountains to the lower areas. Economy and people. Now we're going to be talking about the lifestyle of people on the northern mountains. So, okay, in summers when the snow peaks melt, the water drains into River Indus and its tributaries. Okay, yeah, this drainage helps in the irrigation of Indus Plain. So an advantage of northern mountains to Pakistan is because in summers the snow melts and that water is used for irrigation. Indus Plains if you even search about Indus Plains, because we're going to talk about these plains in detail in the upcoming classes, but for now, if you just search about Indus Plains is one of the most fertile areas of Pakistan. It's used for the agriculture. It's basically a farmland, and because most of the crops are grown on the Indus Plains, irrigation is required to support those plants. And one of the methods of natural irrigation is using the water that melts of the ice on the northern mountains in summers, and you can use that water to irrigate the farmlands of the Indus Plain. Then these mountains are a source of valuable minerals, fruits, and timber. Again, because of the forest, the area, because the northern mountains are very green. If you compare them to the western mountains, we're going to study about the western mountains in detail later. But if you just look at a general comparison, the western mountains are barren, whereas the northern mountains are green. They're known for their greenery because of the trees, the forest areas, and those trees, they provide fruits. Wood, timber is a very important type of wood, and obviously the minerals as well in rocks. So there are historic passes that connect Pakistan to Afghanistan and China. Khyber Pass connects Afghanistan and Pakistan. China, we also have this Korakaram highway and these natural land routes to China for trade. There's a natural border between CS republics and China. Again, through these northern mountains, we get connected to China and CS republics. The mountains protect against the cold winds from CS, making the climate bearable. Pakistan has a very, very moderate climate in summers as well as in winters. I mean, yeah, it gets cold in on the northern mountains, but if you talk about the plainer areas, if you talk about the plateaus, the cities, Punjab, Balochistan, Sindh, the climate is moderate. It gets hot in summers, but not really, because I mean, if you compare the climate of Pakistan with the Middle Eastern countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, I mean, the climate there is very. I'm guessing, Dua, you're from Dubai. Ahmed, you are from. Ahmed, where do you live? Do you live in Saudi Arabia? Hmm? If you guys belong to these Middle Eastern countries, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, sir, I'm from Dubai.
yeah. So both of you can, I mean, develop this comparison. You would have experienced the extreme climates of Saudi Arabia and UAE in summers, and then compare that to Pakistan. It's not very hot over here. And even in winters, I mean, in winters, only the northern mountains, the northern areas, they experience severe winters. The rest of the country, it experiences a very moderate climate. So guys, the purpose of telling that is the northern mountains, they act as a barrier to these strong cold winds. CAS countries are generally cold, and the cold winds flow from the CAS states to Pakistan, and these mountain ranges, they act as barriers to these cold winds. All right. Next, the beautiful scenery attracts tourists in promoting the resort businesses in Gilgit, Hunza, Murree, Naran, etc. So all of these are the tourist destinations: Murree, Hunza, Naran, Kagan, Gilgit, Chitral, Skardu. So these are, I mean, the tourist attractions because of the natural sceneries, because of the topography, because of the rivers, the glaciers, the snow-capped peaks. People visit these northern mountains from different parts of the world in winters and in summers. In summers, yes, I mean, the tourist season is the summer season, because the climate is suitable for people. Families, they visit these northern mountains from across Pakistan and across the world in summers for these tourism activities. Right. So these mountains also provide the raw material for chemicals, furniture, paper, etc. Again, because of the wood and the rocks, right? So provision of raw materials as well. So these were all the important economical factors that contribute. I mean, these economical valuable factors that are for Pakistan because of these northern mountains. I mean, the tourism, if you talk about tourism, it also affects the economy. It generates taxes, people come, they spend in the country, they buy the local products. Because, guys, there's this term known as the cottage industries. People of the northern mountains, they practice cottage industries because the harsh climate in winters, they have very, very limited opportunities to go out of the houses and earn. So what they do is they practice cottage industries. Cottage industries is that they make handicrafts, they make these local products at homes during the winter season, and then they sell those products in summers to the tourists. So the tourism is one of the greatest sources of the economic generation in the northern mountains. Then if you talk about these raw materials, again, we can use these raw materials for our industries. For example, chemicals, we can use chemicals for the pharmaceutical industries, paper, furniture for the wood, and for all of these, again, for the pharmaceutical. and textile industries. So yeah, I mean, you can directly support your economy. You can directly connect these points to the economy of Pakistan, right? If you talk about if you focus on the second point that talks about the irrigation of Indus Plain, again, if you're irrigating the Indus Plain with the help of the water from the melted snow, you're basically boosting your agricultural production. And by boosting the agricultural production, you're basically supporting the agro economy of Pakistan. So it also has direct links to the economy. Then when we talk about the natural historic passes with China and Afghanistan, we're talking about direct trade, and that has a direct impact on the economy. So I hope guys this is clear. Is there any question from this topic? No, I'm guessing that everything is clear. All right, so I'm going to be giving you a question to attempt regarding what we've studied up till now, and I want you to attempt this right now in class by staying in the meeting because we still have 15 minutes. Okay, so the question, let me just write it down here. Just a second. So guys, this is a 6-mark question. Write a note on the importance of northern mountains to Pakistan. You can write, I would suggest you to write 6 developed points for this. So developed points are basically the points, again, we're following a pattern similar to the history questions. You state the reason, you explain the reason, you write examples. Guys, examples are very important in geography. Please write about the examples. You've studied the names of the rivers, glaciers, use those names in your answers. They've studied about these important historic passes, use those names as well, right? So yeah, 6 develop points. Just a second.